you fly by the seat of your pants when you're thinking about buying a property? That might be okay, unless, of course, you're thinking about buying with super. Have a look at all of these rules and things you've got to think about. If you are thinking about it, watch this full video for a couple of key tips and tricks.
Sure. Firstly, buying something in your super fund is not straightforward. It's something you can do. You need to get some really good advice and understand what you're getting involved in. Some of the key things is in your super fund, you must have an investment strategy. So once you know that investment strategy, as they say, don't put the cart before the horse. Know what your investment strategy is, then buy the property in terms of your investment strategy. Don't buy a property and then try and rectify your investment strategy to suit the property. So
Greg, you can't fly by the seat of your pants.
No,
most people do and wander out and say, "Oh, that looks like a good property. I'll buy it."
No, definitely not. So that's the first thing. Don't make sure that it's sitting within your investment strategy.
That sounds definitely like a rule made up by accountants for sure. I mean, I think everyone out there would know their accountant always says, "What are you planning to do?" It's hard to know.
Yeah. Then the other thing. They talk about don't put, and this is really to do with the rules of their thing, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you suddenly just go and use all your super money and you go and buy one property, it's going to flag something with the ATO. So you really need to be careful again about that, knowing, again, going back to your investment strategy, what does it allow? And absolutely property is allowed to be purchased, but be careful that you don't flag something because you're putting everything into one particular thing. So that's another key element. I just made a few notes over here. Is also be careful from who you buy it from and in terms of who you're allowed to live in the property. So there's specific rules around that. So you can't go and buy your property from someone that's family or is part of your super managed super fund. You're not allowed to do that. Also with residential property, and Lucas raised this before on a previous thing, you can't rent your property to a family member, even if they're paying rent, unless there is a rider to that, it's a commercial property. So if it's a commercial property, that is possible. So that's just another sort of thing around there. If you don't have all the cash to go out and just buy the property, it does get tricky, but there are ways of being able to fund these things, one of which is what they call a limited recourse borrowing arrangement. Okay, so it's a very fancy terminology, but essentially you set up a trust within it's a trust. So put it in simple terms.
We're already getting you tied up, aren't we, Greg?
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to put it in simple terms. A limited recourse means that if for some reason something goes wrong, they can't attach the assets of the rest of the things. So you can use these type of loans. But the key thing is, if I can just get it basically down to basics, is get your homework done. Because if you go to a property and you buy it, not having all these other things in place, it's going to cost you a lot of money getting it back into the format or in the vehicle that you need. You need some financial advice once you put it through. So don't put the cart before the horse. Know what you're doing. Look at how you're going to fund it and make sure you get this all ready before you go out and buy a property.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like music to our ears, Greg. You know, we'd love every buyer that comes in to be well organized, know exactly what they want, have their money ready, have their structure set up, everything.
Yeah.
I guess reality is not everyone's going to do it, but where maybe you can fly by the seat of your pants when it comes to you as an individual, you just can't do it with super.
With a self-managed super fund, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble, and you're going to make sure you've got everything sorted before you go and buy that property.
Yeah.
But yes, go and buy it.